Samaka, that means you could hit him up, I could hit him up, but I'm talking about a person that will be, let's say LBA have a meeting every other month. There has to be a, well, I don't know. I'm asking the question if there's an FSLB person there that would take information and bring information back outside of Mr. Samaka.
Okay, you know, I just got a text. So we there's going to be a proposal, or there's a proposal on the table right now for members from the diaspora and from other organizations that support basketball in Liberia to have a representation on the LBA, Liberian Basketball Association board or something.
Yeah.
So that's in the works.
Yeah. Because all going to help. I think this is it's still a mystery for all of us. It's a challenge, an opportunity with the LBA, us that's here with Lovers of the Game, the organization, and we're still trying to find our way through. So having that dialogue, that group, that build up with that togetherness with that group, with those two groups, organizations, communicating formally. You know, that doesn't mean that everything we say they're going to agree, or everything they say we're going to agree, but at least to say, hey, I acknowledge this organization and who they are and their intention for us and what they're trying to help, how they're trying to work with us to move basketball forward. I think that's a great start to work a lot of the issues as we go forward.
So let me ask you another question.
Go ahead.
So if you were the president of the LBA right now, what will be your top 3 priorities?
Top 3. Number 1 will be infrastructure.
Okay.
Development.
What kind of development?
Grassroots development.
Okay, so you're talking about community-based programs.
Of course, because yeah.
Okay. So number 3 would be
international exposure competition.
So infrastructure,
development, and then competition.
And then
competition. Let me not say international. Let's say competition.
Okay.
So I can qualify the development piece to you, and I can qualify any of them.
All right. So, given your knowledge of basketball training, planning, all that stuff, how much money do you think you need as an organization, the LBA, to run an effective league season? So, the LBA league runs for what, 2-3 months?
About, maybe. I know they start. I don't know when it started. In October. Well, we're in October, but they just got done early October, I believe, or late September.
Yeah. So let's assume.
I believe.
Let's assume 2-3 months. How much money do you think you need to run an effective league?
That's a loaded question.
Yeah, I know.
When I say loaded, I mean
maybe we need to get Mr. Samaka on here. You know what? I'm going to reach out to him and see if we can get him on here, because we can't keep talking like this, right? We have to get the people who are the gatekeepers and the caregivers, get them on here.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have infrastructure, then I have to put that into the cost. If you have infrastructure, it depends. It changes things. And SKD by itself, as it is not considered adequate to run effective league when you're talking about Division 1, men and women, and whatever else that goes on. That it have to be, so I'm thinking, if you want me to respond to you, is it going to be elaborate, or is it going to be giving the current state as what we have with just SKD right now? Then I can answer you and say, okay, maybe it might
just SKD.
Yeah.
Yeah, just SKD, because that's all we have right now. Do we have anywhere else? Well, we got a sports commission, but I don't think people are playing there anymore. I don't hear much about the sports commission. So the reason why I'm saying this, because we're kind of role playing here, right? So it's not so much of us trying to pinpoint and say, okay, this is the exact answer to these questions, or these are the exact solutions to some of the challenges that they're facing. We're just trying to role play bounce stuff off you, so that at least people can understand what's going on there. And when, people always say, if you don't have a plan before you win the lottery, when you win the lottery, all that money will just go poof, because you just be all over the place. So it's important to have a plan, So, for example, maybe for some reason we write a grant right now and we get $500,000 that we can use on the LBA. What is the LBA going to do? Do they have a plan right now? Do they have a plan right now to say, okay?
When you bring Mr. Samka on, he'll probably tell you, yeah. But if you ask me with that, what you should focus on, I'm still going to point you back to development. But then expanded development.
You know, you're right. I think number one on your infrastructure development is huge. And the reason why I say that, if you look at Rwanda, you know, the reason why you see all the former and current NBA stars and the rest of them, they're joining into Rwanda right now is because, my man, when you look at that structure, that
infrastructure, brother.
Yeah, you know, and Rwanda wasn't hosting African basketball championships.
Yeah.
You know, as soon as they got that infrastructure down, I mean, everything just shifted. Because once upon a time, it was Egypt, it was South Africa, it was La Cote d'Ivoire, you know, Senegal. Those were the destinations for African basketball, you know, CAF and the rest of them. Now, man, everybody, you know, even with the latest expansion of the NBA, you know, with the NBA African League,
yeah,
you know, the hub of African basketball right now is Rwanda.
Yeah.
So you're right.
Infrastructure.
So you're right. So how then can we say, okay, for example, maybe someone would say, oh, Mr. Walker, Mr. Kennedy, we need to launch a program to, you know, to develop the next Liberian basketball infrastructure. How do we go about that?
That's a government initiative. We can't just do that ourselves because they have to. Again, what I told you earlier, the LBA is never going to develop to above the rest of the country. So the leaders of those organizations, maybe a youth and sports ministry and whoever, we have to see that vision, that to have that vision, and it's the right thing to do. It's not. You're not begging for a favor yet. It's the right thing to do. If you look at the rest of the world, you got to get commensurate in some type of way. So they have to understand that we need proper infrastructure for our youth development, because part of our youth development includes sports. Sport is an intricate part of our development. So if we are depriving our young people, whether it's basketball, whether it's soccer, of participating in sports and even taking it to a different level, then we are not being effective as leaders. So then you cross it into that government and politics thing, but sometimes we just got to get there and say what it is, because it impacts what it is that we want for our young people. Sports is an intricate part of development. There's no way you can separate it.
I agree, my brother.
And change lives. I mean, I'm gonna ask you for something. Did the basketball not impact your life today?
Oh man, come on. Well, God first. You know.
Yeah, I mean, we know God created. Yeah.
Here's the order, right?
Mm-hmm.
God, my parents, and then basketball.
So think about how many kids haven't been deprived would need man, look at it. I don't even want to take it to the NBA level. Look at the amount of foreign kids that are being infused into the league, into the colleges over here. How do we give our kids that global expertise, that global opportunity? We don't have infrastructure. You take a kid from here right now that playing Division I basketball, or even in the NBA, a Liberian kid, American Liberian kid, and taking home for summer vacation. Where do he work out? He don't want to be working out on a place that's not adequate for him.
What's the name of the kid that just sober, right?
You can take that kid over there and he go work out over there and really do an intensive workout. That court is not ideal.
Yeah, that boy got $5 million insurance on his legs. He's not gonna go work out to the.
You see what I mean? But for our kids, we need development. We need infrastructure, and then we need development.
Let me tell you a story. Let me tell you a little story, Pittman. You know, so you know, like you, I have a lot of friends in the government, right? So sometimes we talk, and it seems like from one government to the other, and I don't mean to be political here, but it's kind of difficult to disassociate politics from sports, right? So from one government to the other, I don't know why folks don't realize that it takes a lot of pressure off the government. Take for example the University of Liberia. So if you have an effective and very strong basketball program
Yeah,
at the University of Liberia, and the story I was about to tell you is, so when I came to the States, and I went to school at North Greenville, nobody knew who the name of the political student leader on campus. You know, they have these student congresses. Like every university, you know, they have student leaders
yeah,
at, at the university. But if you walk around campus and you ask, what is the name of the student leader? If you ask 10 person, trust me, it'll be 0 out of 10. Nobody knew who that was.
yeah.
But if you ask who was the point guy on the basketball team, trust me, everybody would know. Everybody would know. So my point is, you take you take a lot of pressure from the university leadership. You take a lot of pressure from the government by having kids involved in all these different activities like basketball, track and field. Trust me, if I have inter university competition coming up in Nigeria, in Lagos or Abuja, that I have to go, or maybe I have to go to practice for, I'm not going to no hot. You know, I'm not going to go follow no political party. No, I'm going to my practice, right? Because I know that something good is going to come. So I think if the government focus on sporting activities more, I think it's going to take a lot of pressure from some of the disturbances that we see. I mean, call it any way you want to call it, but I think that's practical and that's just real.
So I agree. But let push to the last piece right here. This last international competition and this even the championship of the LBA
Yes,
and
yes.
how it ties back to what exactly I'm talking about, infrastructure development, right? I'm telling you that. Like, so when you lack vision, is back, man. It's like you win, but you lose because you so much focus on this win that you lose everything, right? So yes, why the point I'm making. A kid called me of a couple of months ago. He was like, "Man, you gotta check this kid out. He's NBA ready, right? He NBA ready." Like, he sent me some highlight. This kid dunking with all kind of crazy. So I asked the question, where he developed at, because I don't know him. Kind of find out I talked to a kid from Mali. And you understand me? It's a
Mm.
Malian kid. Okay, fine, no problem. But he don't even speak English well. So the conversation that went that kind of way anyway. So there was a talk about the influx of the foreign players coming in for the sake of winning. And I get it. It's competition. Do what you legally can do, bring them in.
You mean
That's not
coming into the States?
to Liberia to play for the
Oh,
team.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We're going to transition into that after this. So I want us to
Yeah.
transition into the current state of the game. The skill development level, what we have right now as a league, and then we can look at something else. Maybe next week we can talk about the future of the
So
game.
yeah. So they need develop. In fact, I'll tell you this, and I know there's my private conversation. On Monday, I called Coach Lucas. John Lucas were talking, and I was like, man, what's up with the NBA Africa? I mean, the Basketball League Africa. He was like, they need a lot of development, real development over there, right? That's his take, whatever. That's a prelude to what I'm saying. So if they still need development at those levels, then think about what we need back home in Liberia. So watching the games and watching the Division One championship, there's a need for development, constant development. All right, but
You mean Division 1 in Liberia?
in Liberia, there's a need for
Okay.
for development. But if you focus on that level right now, then you miss the level behind it. And if you focus on that, then you miss the level behind it.
So here's the way I see it, my
brother. You see what I'm going with that, right? Well, I keep pointing back down to
the grassroots.
Go to the grassroots.
Yeah, the grassroots. No, I agree with you. I think as it is right now, you just gotta let the game to flow.
Yeah.
But the kids who are like 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, that's where I think personally, I think that's where the focus should be. You can help the guys that are playing right now, help them develop, but I don't think it's going to be as effective as helping the guys, the kids who are like 5, 6, because that's where you hone and develop real skills, right? Because if you don't break those bad habits at that level, by the time they get to 14, 15,
late.
It's late. And I do the same thing with my kids, right? I tell them all the time. I tell my son all the time. I say, look, when you're going right, you're strong, you're powerful, you're a beast. But when you get to that left side, you're a little bit shaky. And a smart guy or smart opponent will see that like this. And once he sees that, you're in trouble. So you definitely don't want to be a one-dimensional player. And when I watch our current league right now, trust me, man, my man, look, I think the kids are more athletic than us. Like they're serious athletes. Compared to the time we play, I think these kids are way, way better athletes than us. But I think we have better development. I think the development was a little bit better.
You mean in Liberia?
Yes, in Liberia, yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, in Liberia. So speaking of that, how do you think the league, the LBA league, let's look at the players that are in the league right now. We're talking about it a few seconds ago, where we're talking about Coach Lucas talking about, we need more development, for the guys who are playing in the African Basketball League right now.
Yeah.
Now, these guys are way better than players in Liberia, right?
Yeah.
But I see a trend where in Liberia, instead of focusing more on the local development of the players, I see the importation of foreign talents. Now, it's a good thing. It's a good thing that you bring, from a financial and fan perspective. So meaning the fans want to see a little bit more better basketball. And then with that fan enthusiasm and involvement, they'll come back to the gym, and then the gym can earn more money.
Yeah.
Because the product is good, so people want to pay for it. But from a historical and future perspective, meaning where the game is going to end up, I don't think it's good for us, because these guys are here that they come for 2-3 months, they play, and then they leave.
Yeah.
So as far as development, where do you see the talent, the local talent?
Well, the talent is all over the place, and that's why I keep honing on going back. And you understand me? It's hard to teach old dog new tricks. Okay. I'm not saying that is bad, but normally, let me ask you a question. When you were coming up, I know when I was coming up, a guy your size would never be a point guard in Liberia. You would never see that.
I agree. Once you are 6'5", 6'6",
they're gonna bury you right underneath, and your development gonna start and end right underneath them. So what if that have the opportunity to go play international ball, especially on this side?
Yeah, he's limited.
He's very limited. You already okay. So if we're not telling that's how we do it now. The way development is, they teach everybody to play point guard and out, right? No matter how tall you are.
Yep.
And the game has changed. The game has changed tremendously. Everybody has to have the ability to be a 3-and-D guy, can defend and stretch the floor and be valuable from outside, right? That's one aspect of the changes in the game. So for the way it is right now, and it's a sticky thing with the international guys, because if I'm running a program, one of the Division I program, I want to win. I don't care about your development. I want to win games. So if I got to bring 2 guys from outside to play, that's fine. I want to win games for LPRC so I can, guess what? That's my priority. Fine. Yeah. I got nothing to do with that. It's cool. From an LBA standpoint, you need to develop your league. So your league itself, your repository of players, are high quality. What that does for you, it helps you in international competition, whether it's from a club team or from a national team level. What that does for you, it expands your visibility to BAL. So instead of keeping it in Kenya, I said, oh, that team in Liberia can kick butt. See, when you don't see all of that, then you miss it. So if we don't have it now, we're not going to have it next year.
So let me ask you
the grassroots to develop the grassroots. So when the grassroots get to the 17-year-old age, they can start kicking more butt and be ready. So
okay.
Then we don't lose.
Yeah, you and I are on the same page on that one. Yeah. Grassroots focus. You and I are on the same page. But let me ask you another question. Maybe you didn't think about this. What is the average playing span of a Liberian Basketball Association player?
Where, in Liberia or when they come here?
Yeah, in Liberia. Like, how many years do you think they play? So, meaning if the guy enter the league, say he enter the league at 20, 21, or whatever age, how many years do you think he plays before he goes like?
I know maybe I'm being too ambitious, but I'm saying 4 or 5 years, maybe.
All right.
Yeah.
No, that's a fair number. So if I'm the president, if I'm the president of the federation, right? So those are some of the things I'll be thinking about, right? So I'll be thinking about, okay, for Oilers, man. He's Marshall. Yes. Peter Marshall is at the top of his game right now. Or his peak is like this, right? Meaning he's going up. And he's at this age. And the average playing span of an LBA player is 4 or 5 years. It means that I only got Peter Marshall for 5 years maximum, right? So how do I get another Peter Marshall to come in there?
Well, Peter Marshall got again. The kid got 5 years because of the system, the infrastructure, the lack of development, the lack of quality of the league.
Okay,
that's
hold up.
Physical limitation.
Okay, hold up.
Hold
up. What is the average playing span or lifespan, let's put it that way, of an NBA player, professional NBA player?
9 to 12 years or so.
I think so. I think it's less than that.
Yeah, maybe 7 to 8 years.
Average. Hold up. We got a smartphone. You can be talking. Let me find out.
But in Liberia, where the kid played 2-3 years and he gets scrapped, then he probably got to look for a job to work somewhere to take care of himself and his family. All of that will have an impact on him playing. Play into that. What's it?
You want to guess what the average career, the average career length of an NBA player?
How much?
4 to 5 years.
Okay, 4 to 5 years.
4 to 5 years. That's average, though.
Yeah.
So I mean, I know these guys get a lot of money, but translate that to Liberia, I think it's about the same. You know, give you all the other externalities. Now, if you think about externalities, you're talking about, you know, number one, you're playing on our cement.
Yeah.
You know, which is really, really bad for your knees. You know, so I mean, I would say even less than that. For Liberia, maybe 2 or 3 years on average.
But the thing is, a lot of these guys here, they're going to 4 years of they're going to high school rigor, then they go to NBA. So there's a lot of load on them if they go to college. Nowadays, I know we got it one and done, and maybe but still there's a lot of 2 years or 3 years of college basketball is still a lot of load that you add. Whereas in Liberia, you don't have that. You just get into, hey, if I'm 17, I can go, I'm going. If I'm 18, I can go, I can go. So they'll give you at least close to 6, 7 years or time. But you got to look at the factors. What next after they get done playing? Like what legacy they have to hold on to. But what they're going to look back and say, yeah, I was a great guy. They're part of what when they're done playing. They got.
My brother, that's a totally different topic. But let's get back to the development. So like I was saying, right? If I'm the LBA president, that's my mindset. I'm thinking, okay, my best player is going to come through here through the league for maybe 3-4 years maximum. So how do I get a feeder, right? Now the feeder is where you and I both agree that feeder is the grassroots development, because if Fidel Marshall comes in here and plays and he wowed the fans for 4 or 5 years, after that, you're not going to get beat of players. So if I'm the LBA president, that is where my focus is going to go, because I want to have longevity. I want to have my league, vibrant and out there. So my focus is going to be on youth development. But I don't know if we're thinking like that.
No. I
don't know if we're thinking like that.
Marshall, for the Oilers versus NPA, who's for the NPA? You don't know. There's nobody, right?
Yeah.
There's no names associated with that.
Well, part of that too is because the guys who announce the game, they don't announce people's names.
Yeah, but no. The point I'm making is I'm amplifying your point.
Okay.
To say that not only do you need a next Fidel Marshall, but you need the next Steph Curry, LeBron James, the next all of that. A slew of top-notch guys coming in. A slew of top-notch guys coming in. So your league is filled with competitors. No matter who go in the championship, it's going to be this guy versus that guy, this guy versus that guy. You don't hear that.
So and I don't know how long you want to stay here. I don't have much to do today, but we can go as long as you want.
Yeah, we can go for another half an hour. We'll be done.
Okay. But the point I want to make here, my brother, is looking at where we've come from as a people, in the basketball, youth and sports development arena. We need to spend some time thinking about some of the things that we can control as a people. I know Liberia has a lot of challenges, and a lot of times people want to receive before they act, meaning they want to get all this support, before you act. But there are certain things that we can control, as a people. And I think once we start to take stride and start to make some effort into controlling those things, and the people who we consider our partners, if they see that we're making strong efforts in controlling what we can control, then it means that, I see Pittman. Pittman wants to be a long distance runner. Every day, rain or shine, man, I see this guy out there putting in that work, So if Pittman comes to me and says, yeah, man, Walker, man, I really been trying to get to being a supreme and superior long distance runner, but I'm struggling with shoes. Then my mind click and say, you know what? I see this guy out there every day putting in the work. Let me help him to get these shoes. So that's how people get motivated to help you. Now, if you're just sitting down doing nothing, and then all of a sudden you come to everybody and say, I want to be that supreme and super athlete. I want to run long distance. Nobody's going to help you.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to help you.
Yeah.
So people got to see that you want to do something, my brother. But let's get back to the league. Coaching. So from your perspective, how do you see the level of coaching right now?
So I think you asked me about the state of basketball in the beginning.
Yeah.
Where it was.
Yeah, we talk about the players,
No, that's the whole part of it.
The funny thing is, only Fidel Marshall name I know, right? trust me, I don't know. Maybe I didn't spend more time.
That Blue Dancing, that Blue.
Yeah. So there's this guy called Samba too.
Yeah.
And Samba got to be a foreigner, right?
I think so.
Yeah, no, he got to be a foreigner. So I know Samba is a foreigner.
So let's talk about coaching. All right, look, when you talk about coaching, like I got to be empathetic with the coaches. Let me be honest with you.
Okay.
Yeah, because I can't come here and say, well, they're terrible. Because to me, when you say you're terrible, I mean,
nah, they're not terrible, man.
Yeah, it's like to say that, I gave you the work, I gave you the training, I gave you the development, you performing miserably. No, these guys are doing the very best they can do with what they know how to do. I'll leave it as that. Having said that, and I'm a coach, so my job is not to come here and but I think that we could use some coaches development just so we can expand to them, because who I am today and who you are today, we were not always like that. And we had to learn and others had to help us. So I think our coaches could use some help from a coaching standpoint. If you're coaching maybe LPRC, maybe you're working at LPRC and you're coaching on the side, it's no different than a guy teaching in the classroom and coaching. Maybe, I don't know, So you have adults, so we got to understand that first. Again, it's not like the NBA coaches are getting paid a livelihood to coach and then we can say and criticize them. So for me, I will applaud the coaches to say thank you for what they are doing. They're taking their time off. However, we as the association, as the folks that are in the places to be, that have access to things, have to support them by providing the necessary training and developmental opportunities to help them enhance their coaching skills. So let me get to the nitty-gritty. I saw a couple of games between Pythons and Oilers. In fact, I thought what the Pythons did was very despicable. I don't like that. They should have showed up and played the game when that's a disrespect to the game to not show up. That's for one. I think it's a larger issue to talk about. But
we can talk about that another time.
During the games, the coaches not utilizing timeouts for the right reasons. I saw some of that. I saw in a close game, less than 4 points with less than 2 minutes, when a coach is calling a timeout, and half the team is with him and the other half is sitting down. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Those are little things that coaches need to be privy to. Your timeout are your trump cards in the game. So your advantage. Then I also saw that again. I couldn't tell who the assistant coaches were in their roles. Assistant coaches, if not, they have a more important role than the head himself during the game. Because at the head, you are focusing on the execution of the X and O. The assistant coaches are responsible for everything else: player management, player attitude, score, timeouts, how many he had left, how many fouls that guy got, who's going to go in next. That's your job, assistant coach. So when we talk about coach development, those are the areas we need to help our folks in. Hey, don't just sit over there and just watch the game like everybody else.
You hang out.
You have to
don't be afraid.
You got that man got 2 eyes and he watching the game. The head coach. Your job is to make sure that you keeping him smart. It's like he's your CEO and you his chief of staff. How can you let him? So there's a lot of opportunities for coaches. But having said, I give it all to them for sacrificing their time. Coaching, teaching, those things are sacrificial jobs that I don't think we pay them enough. So we can help them as an association. And I spoke with the secretary the other day about that. So hopefully they're amenable to that and we can develop some type of coaches development plan to help our coaches. Because if we are seeing it, everybody else is seeing it.
Yeah. And look, you're spot on, my brother. You're spot on. I think, and that's where the collaborative, aspect of our engagement comes in, right? I think as we move along, both the Federation in Liberia and folks like you and myself, we all have to come, what in America they call it the come to Jesus moment, right? Meaning you come and surrender all. Say, okay, this is where I am. I know that I'm at this position. So here's the way I see it, and I'll give you my honest opinion. I think our engagement and our involvement with basketball in Liberia is still, let me put it this way, it's at a recreational level. By recreational, I mean, you know how you go to recreation center, right? You just go relax, do what you gotta do. You don't think about it too much. You're not reviewing your processes. You just go and do what you can do when you get out. All right. I think that's where our game, the game of basketball has been at that stage for so many years. Meaning, coaches are not investing the time into improving themselves. And again, that goes back to the point where maybe they're not getting the kind of support that they need. And needs to be, okay, how do we get coaches prepared? How do we get them the tools that they need? How do we get them the experience? How do we aid existing coaches, teach them what they need to be doing? Look, you observed the Oilers in Python's game, right? I just watched the Oilers. So I'm watching, right? And I always tell people the way I watch basketball is different from the average fan. So when I'm watching basketball, I'm looking for, the first thing I look at is what kind of offenses set the other teams are running.
Yeah.
Look at who the major guys are. Whether is this one guy. How he moves. What kind of tendencies he has. That kind of stuff. I'm watching all that kind of stuff. And I'm watching what kind of set they're running. And I'm watching the coaches too as well. So on the Ivorian side, you can tell that their players were well conditioned than ours. These guys were moving at different speed. All right. From a basketball skill and development standpoint, you can tell clearly that these guys have had a lot of reps. The stuff that they were doing, it was like second nature. It was just coming, like, they didn't have to think too much.
Yeah.
All right. They will come down every time they go offense or defense. They knew what they were doing. Now, from a coaching standpoint, I didn't even see our coaches with a clipboard. I didn't see them with anything that shows that they were bring direction, all right? They were giving their players direction. My coach, when I played way back, 100 years ago, my coach used to say, look, I'm going to scream, yell, and curse a lot during practice so that when we get to the game, I don't do that kind of stuff when we get to the game. So practice used to be crazy. It used to be crazier than games. Yeah. Because by the time you get to the game, it's all about high-level execution. I mean, your guys are ready. They know what they're doing. When you're calling your sets or you're telling them to pay attention to certain tendencies of the opposing team, they're in the right state of mind, right? So I didn't see that. Yeah. So those are some of the things that we need to work on. How do you get your guys ready at practice so that when you get to the game, they know what they're doing? How do you get them well conditioned? How do you do your scouting, whether it's player or playing style scouting, all that stuff? What are some of the tendencies of the opposing team? Do they run a particular set? Look, I'll give you one example. LPRC orders, they had this Samba guy. I don't know. This guy plays for Peru.
That's part of the problem too.
So move around. So they had a set for him, right? They were running this set for Samba. It was a simple high string set. you know, the top of the key. You come, you see on the screen, almost like a two-man game, right? And for those who don't understand basketball, they probably won't get it. But two-man game means that you isolate two guys on one side of the floor, you run a pick and roll, you know, one guy flash to the rim, you know, try to get a basket. So almost like a two-man game.
Yeah.
But they ran it twice.
Yeah.
After Summer scored twice, the Ivorian coach called a timeout. Didn't it? All the students get a bucket on that play.
Yeah. That's effective coaching. It's about adjustments. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They couldn't get one single bucket out of that play. But you know, as a coach, right? Every play has a counter. It has an option and an option to the option, right? So in case we run it and stop it this way, we gotta reverse it on this side. So I didn't see that from Oilers. So when those guys just cut them off, it was done. That's when the game just got out of hand because it seemed like that was the only set Oilers was running. They had this one set for Samba, and once Samba got cut off. But those are some of the things. Those are some of my observations about the game, where it is right now.
So I can give you a piece on that game. I saw all three of the game, by the way, and I will tell you again. I still thought that the first game was the team against Benin. We could have won that game easy.
Yes, I agree.
You could have won that game easy. You made a couple of adjustments and you win that, so you get your first win. That gives you momentum. The second game against the team from Ghana, that was an iffy one. But then they lost it again in the last quarter, because I think Liberian was leading halftime.
Yep.
And you had a chance to win. So that one was so shaky. I knew for sure going in, they were not going to beat the Ivorian. And they were beating everybody.
Look guys, man.
So you kind of pick your poison and really help you in your preparation. I'm not sure if our coaches were privy to that, but you got to do your homework. I knew for sure the Ivorian team was going to be a piece of work, but you had a chance to meet them with a 2-0 momentum or 1-1 at least. Yeah. The Benin game is bothering me because I thought that's the one we had and then the Ghana game was iffy. But then when you have a coaching thing, let me tell you something, and you know this, right? So when I coach, right, I don't lose the things that I don't need to lose. Like, you're not going to beat me with motivation. You're not going to beat me with energy. You're not going to beat me with enthusiasm. You're not going to outwork me. You may out-talent me, but you ain't going to outwork me because I control those things.
Yeah.
So if you look at the body language, and I like my little nephew. Even though, so that's one of the reasons when you take guys from different, there was a guy there, when he coming in on the game, he just walk with no motivation, no enthusiasm. Like, come on, how are you going to help me? Like, then go back and sit down, right? Yeah.
That boy probably tired.
And then he come in and turn the ball over. So it's no surprise because look, so when I would coach my guys, right? When I come in the gym, I look at the other coach and his energy level. Yeah. And I look at how they're warming up. And I tell my guys, we're going to kick them in the mouth. Because look, they're not even going hard. You control things like that. Because when everything is even, right? That momentum, that energy is going to take you over. And you understand? These are some of the simple things with coaching that coaches don't understand. You can just go into the game like 6 days ago. Now, if you even kill, you're going to lose because it comes down to that last 3 minutes in the fourth quarter. What are you going to do? You got nothing to. You take all the time out home with you. You don't extend the game. You got to extend the game a little bit. Let them beat you from the free throw line. Yeah. You can't get the game up in 2 minutes because you're down 8. No, we're gonna play basketball to the end.
So I was having a conversation with my good friend Peter Bogart. You probably know Peter, right? Yeah. So Peter is going to join the show at some point in time.
Yeah.
We're trying to work out something for him to come on every now and then.
Yeah.
But Peter and I were good buddies, best of friends, and we talk all things basketball. So we're talking about the game because every time we watch the game, we call one another, we talk about it, we go from start to end, talk about all the details, the little things here and there. So one of the things that I was talking about was the fact that when we played, there was no YouTube.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how old we are.
Yeah.
So there was no YouTube. So if your team coming from Liberia, there's no way you can scout a team from the Ivory Coast, right? You probably maybe if you're lucky to watch them one game before you play, then you can sit on the sideline and try to scout and do all that stuff. But nowadays, you just gotta go to YouTube. You gotta go to other social media outlet or wherever, and just type in the team name or something, and you'll see tons of videos about the team and something. You'll find something.
Yeah.
So, are the coaches doing that?
Assistant coaches, you're listening. You're gonna be bringing a scouting report to your head coach and telling you who the superstar is, who the is.
Look, it goes down to the little things, right? Like some guys, like this one guy, played on the JC. I think it was called JCA, team from Ivory.
Yeah.
He wears number 23.
Yeah.
His name was Kolibali or something. Yeah. Now, why do I remember all this detail?
Because I watched on the team. He's the best player on the team.
Yeah, watching this dude, right? He's right-handed.
Yeah.
But he loves to go left.
Yeah.
This guy's right-handed, but he loves to go left. He puts the ball in his right hand.
Yeah.
He goes hard 2-3 dribbles.
And then finish
he
left.
Crosses you over. And then he gets the rim of his left hand.
Yeah.
You know? So, and the guy was just killing these others, man, with a one seam move, like over and over and over again. Wow. Yeah. Nobody can stop this team. You know? But at that moment in the game, your players, they're tired.
Yeah.
You know, they're not thinking.
Demotivated. Right. 0-2. They got 2 donuts. So, and then they get in the bus.
So, like my coach used to say, the only thing that you rely on at that particular moment in a basketball game is the information that you're getting from your coach. Because when you're on the floor, you're not going to see all that stuff. You know, only the very smart elite guys will try to figure that stuff out. You know, and it's also based on your coaching too. You know, like my coach used to say, look, when the player gets in the game, even if you don't have the scouting report, you gotta watch him on 2 or 3 plays. Some guys will just tell you all you need to know on 2-3 plays.
Yeah.
You know, some of them they can only go right.
Yeah.
Like the point guard, I forgot his name, from Oilers. Point guard.
Working on shooting.
Every time he goes right, something good is going to happen. He's either going to make a good pass to somebody, or he's going to dribble and maybe give an outlet or something. But every time he goes left, he takes 2, 3, 4 dribbles, picks the ball up, and then he jumps to pass the ball, right? From Ivory Coast, they call him to that stuff. That dude had almost 15 turnovers, I'm telling you, because they just kept forcing him left.
Oh, don't get me started with turnovers. That's another thing from a developmental standpoint.
Yeah, but you know, I know we're nitpicking and all that kind of stuff, but it's all good. You know, we're just doing it because, you know, if you're analyzing the game, you want to look at those things, right? Yeah. But I think we have a lot of potential. The future looks great because of all the collaboration.
Like I said, coming out of where we came from, we could have gone to that Ivory Coast game up 2-0. Seriously, if we did. So I'm putting things in perspective. So that makes me feel that we have something. If we had gone over there and got blown up by 30 every game, then I'll say, we
no,
you know, we could have beaten the first 2 teams, and that says a lot about the state of basketball and how much those guys not going that far.
Yeah. No, I don't see a lot of difference between their games and their game and ours. You know, from a developmental standpoint, I think we need to tighten the bolts a little bit around certain things. You know, number one, coaching, because I think that's where everything goes from. You know, the directions you give your players, how you get them prepared for the game, what the assistant coaches are doing on the sideline, which is very bad. You know, you should be there checking who's the best free throw shooter on their team. Who love to go left, who love to go right.
We're paying the coaches.
The assistant coaches.
Are we paying the coaches?
Are we paying them?
Yeah. At least.
Well, that's another topic altogether, my brother.
Yeah, because again.
Yeah, like I said,
our people.
Yeah, a lot of things, like I said, it's more recreational, right? Most of the guys just show up and volunteer.
Yeah, so
you can't push volunteer too hard.
Yeah. You expect the better to go get high level training. Yeah. Look at it like, where you bring?
But you can't feel it. But before we leave, right, I think I have maybe 10 more minutes. So let me ask you this question. Maybe we can dive into it a little bit, and then next week, we can plan a little bit better kind of structure where we want to focus in on more, because I think we should focus on the grassroots part. I think we both agree on that.
Yeah.
So moving forward, we can look at the grassroots development aspect of the game and where we can have the most impact. But before we go, this thing is a process, right? It's a long, very long journey that's going to go way beyond you and me. And like I said, it's always about legacy. I always think about legacy. Like, okay, this stuff I'm doing right now, or what can I do to leave my mark, my print, so that when I leave the stage, I have something people can still attribute a few things to myself or the people I work with. So looking at our game right now, and the fact that nowadays we're getting involved in a lot of international competition, how important do you think it is for us to merge the local talent with diaspora talent? So meaning maybe your kid, like maybe your son or my son who's playing basketball outside Liberia and maybe hope to play, at international level someday in Liberia. So how do we do that? How can the federation initiate that process right now?
I'm not sure if it's you said the federation. I don't know if the federation has any limiting criteria that stops that. I think it's the burden is on us to have our kids have an opportunity to participate, to want to do that, and understand the importance of doing that. So I don't know of any situation where the federation have put a limitation or some type of anything like that.
No, I'm not talking about limitation. I'm talking about the process, right? And let me describe it a little bit better, so maybe you get what I'm talking about. So say Sober right now, the kid who just the NBA, say Sober wants to play with Liberia or Lone Star.
The infrastructure, where you can practice at?
You will practice wherever the rest of the team practicing. So say he wants to go to Liberia to play. What would be the role, or what would be the activities leading up to him getting there? Who would be contacting him? What would the schedule look like? What would the incentives be like? What would the government of Liberia, the LBA, what would they provide, make it possible for him to get there?
Well, I think if the Sober kid or any of the kids over here that high level basketball, even at the Division 1 level, want to declare themselves to play for Liberia, will invite them to do everything they can. The decision is on the kid though, because once he do go that route, then he can come back to the route.
I agree.
That's the challenge right there. But I think like for something that I can validate, because I said something today and I will say it today. You are your most valuable asset and your most valuable liability. So don't stay your own way. And our people will probably stay our own way to get a kid like that and discourage something. You know what I mean? I just hope that the opportunity arises, because our kids are Liberian kids. Your boys, they grow up and say, hey, my dad is for Liberia and help enhance the country's ability to play internationally. I think they should be given consideration. And
okay, that's just one piece of it. But I think how do they do it? For me, I think that's the most challenging part, because okay, I'll explain. So if you look at the Nigerians and the Ghanaians and the Senegals of the world, I think that's how they build their programs to an appreciable level. An infusement of players and guys who played in college or played other places. When it was time for national duty, they were able to call them back for them to come in and play.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, okay, if we want to build, because even if we say, okay, let's rely on the local talent, right, to get where we can compete at a high level. In my view, I think it's going to take us maybe the next 10 to 15 years with a strong grassroots program. 10, 15 years. So meaning the kids who are at 5 right now, the next 10 years, they'll be 15, 20 years, they'll be, well, the next 10 years, they'll be 15. The next 20 years, they'll be 25. So between that 15 to 25 age range, you can get the best out of them, right? So meaning if you have a strong, by the time they reach 25, they're solid. All right. So meaning if we want to do this kind of stuff, it's going to take us the next 10, 15, 20 years. But so the kid here who's playing senior level high school basketball right now is 14, 15, right? 16 years or 16, let's say 16, 17 at that age. He's solid. If he's playing a good program, he's solid. So if he can first, and this is the how. This is the how. So if you can first initiate the contact, all right? So for example, you and myself, we can, Daniel, where do you live again? Texas? San Antonio. All right. So if we can organize a tournament in San Antonio, maybe set up a simple, and I'm giving this brilliant idea because something I've thought about, right? So you set up a Google Doc online where players can sign up, right? Players from all around the United States. And every summer or fall or whatever, they meet in San Antonio, and with the support of the Liberian Basketball Association, we have their number, their telephone number, their names, their age, the school to go to, all that stuff, because that's data that you need, right? Yeah. To contact them. So they come down, they compete at the maybe junior high school level, and then we get all that information. And then you have to be transparent. You tell them, oh, this is what it is. We're building this program over the next 5 years. We want to get Liberian basketball to an appreciable level. If you want to be involved, maybe the federation can organize, meaning they pay transportation, lodging, whatever, food, or get the kids in Monrovia once a year.
Man, I started the conversation earlier. I told you everybody got their strong points and the weak points in the area. I love that. I didn't even think about that, about wildest imagination. That's a fantastic idea, brother. That's it. I didn't even think about it, man. I didn't even think about it.
All right. So let me just lay that quickly so before we go. So you get it in once a year. Now, when you're getting them into Monrovia, you can just get it in and you put it in some kind of sloppy place, hotel messed up, facility messed up. You gotta give them top-notch experience, because these are the guys who, when they leave, they become ambassadors, right? Become ambassadors because they're going to tell their friends, in Monrovia, the local talent, we ball with these guys. So that's a two-edged sword, right? So you're getting the players in from the but then you're also exposing them to the local guys who then build a network because because these kids already have a lot of interface. They have a lot of relationships with some of the best coaches in their high schools and in their districts here. So if they see the local guys in Monrovia, they can help them to connect with those coaches. So then we're pooling. So it's like a fish pool, right? So if you eat a fish farming, if you eat the best fish from the pond, so that's the whole idea.
Yeah.
So you're connecting those two generations or those two levels of players. So the guys from the diaspora going in, having that experience, signing up to the program. And then every year we come to San Antonio, Texas. Every single year we come out there. We're having this tournament where guys are signing up. And then when we get there, we do maybe like a lottery where players are signed to different teams, because the whole idea is to get to evaluate talents, right? You don't want to put guys on the same team where they are always playing together. So you just spread them around.
I love that. I love that. And then
build a database, give it to the federation, secure the funding. We'll get the guys in Monrovia, or just once in a year, play just so they can connect. And then if we have a major tournament coming up, then you know where to pull your talent from.
Yeah. I think I like it. I like it. I love it. At least
all right, my brother,
we'll be able to see what we're looking like, at least in one gym. And at least that would be powerful to do that.
Because I mean, you can do so much with that, right? You can get those guys in there. They can help you run clinics. You can use them to talk to some of the local coaches. Because I always tell folks, basketball has its own language. You know, if you don't know what a dribble cut is, you don't know what a V cut is. You know, you don't know what a pocket pass is. You know, yeah, you get in a system where people are talking like that, you get lost, right? And then the learning curve becomes so steep. You got to spend a lot of time trying to learn. But if the local coaches are speaking the same language, then when our boys leave Liberia and go out, then it becomes easier for them to adjust and try. So those are some of the things that I think about, you know, when it comes to basketball. But hey, my brother, we've been here for a little over 2 hours, 30 minutes, 2 hours, 35 minutes.
Yeah.
I didn't even feel like we've been here that long.
Yeah.
You know?
Talking basketball, you can go all day.
Oh yeah, man, I can go two days without even taking
Let's just get some closing thoughts and then wrap it up. And
yeah, you know, I'll let you go first, and then I will, you know, I'll wrap us up, and then hopefully we'll look forward to the next week.
So yeah, for me, well, I'm excited that we having this conversation, and I told you earlier that this is a journey that sometimes you jump on at a different place, and then it's left to you to immerse yourself, to look back, and then to look forward. So for me, I just want to give thanks to the great men and women that play Liberian basketball, that build that infrastructure and that platform. That guys like us came through, even though I didn't stay on that platform too long. I was at the second division level. But that platform that continues today, and if I could do one thing over again, I would just wish that our players had the resources that the players over here had, who know what that come before us, that came through, and you know. So, but anyways, with that being said, you know, the guys like I want to give special thanks to Dr. Melvin Hall for being a leader in the organization here, and being steadfast and humble and a great guy, personable and very encouraging, and his staff. Also, I want to give another special shout out to my brother, my coach, my mentor, your coach, Caleb Doma in Liberia, for giving all he has, which is his time, to further the game and help our young people. And I respect that man with all my heart. So one of the things I do when I'm going back is I always give respect to those guys and say, hey, Caleb, I'll be in town. Let's run something, you know, get some kids together. He'll be like, always welcome, always leaning forward. And that's important, that we give those guys their due diligence and their due respect, not because we are here. We feel like, you know, no, those guys are the guys that led that built that platform. So I can hope that we continue that, being a smart contributor and having that obligatory spirit to give back to Liberia and basketball development. So thank you for this. I'm looking forward to next week and see what we can do to further the needle. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, you've been amazing, my brother. And whenever you bounce ideas off, great minds, the results, it's just amazing. But hey, to the folks who's been watching us, following us, I want to say thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for following all the reps and beyond. And like we said, in order to be an expert at anything, you have to put in constant repetition. You have to do it over and over and over and beyond. So we'll be here talking about basketball development, basketball progress in Liberia. Not only basketball, if you're a great fashion designer, you want to come on here, come here. We'll talk anything, everything. If you're into health, if you're into fitness, of course, maybe one of these days, we can devote the time to just talking about sweat equity in your wonderful brand. I'm trying to build that brand myself with all the reps,
You got that already. All the reps and beyond, baby. I love it.
Yeah, all the reps and beyond. But hey, I can't end this thing without saying thank you, man. Thank you to, I'm not gonna call names because if I start calling names here, we won't leave. But all the folks who have inspired me, push me and say, my man, you gotta get this podcasting started, man. You got so much to offer, you're a writer. I started writing. I'm not an official writer yet, but I got some works, that I'm working on. But just folks trying to push me, all my friends, my loved ones, my yum delicious, know who you are.
You get yourself in trouble now. Okay.
Hey, man, don't worry about that one. But hey, but these are the people who just push me every day, every single time that, hey, you can be this, you can do this. All my boys, all my folks from Liberia, here in the diaspora. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. This is the maiden first episode of All the Reps and Beyond. We'll be doing more of this, coming up with great perspective, great ideas, sharing them here, bringing on the folks who are, the gatekeepers, the caregivers of all these different aspects of our society that we hope that our conversation will help improve. So we'll be bringing them on, just to talk about it. And then we'll not only talk, all right, we'll be asking you to get involved. I know Pittman mentioned FSLB, the Friends and Supporters of Liberian Basketball. Our current president is Dr. Melvin Hall. So we'll try to get Melvin on here. Let's get his perspective on leadership, leading an organization like that. Hey, I've had front row seat, right, to Dr. Hall's leadership. This guy is by far one of the greatest leaders in Liberia. I mean, when you talk about high level, superb, low key, behind the scenes, productive leadership. Sometimes, so Dr. Hall is not like people like myself, right? People like myself, my accountability style is different. His is just so powerful, It's just so powerful. And you can learn a lot from a guy like that. So I want to appreciate him. We'll be getting him on here. We try to get Mr. Samuka on here and maybe some of the folks from the LBA who will want to come here and talk because that's first-hand information. I mean, we can develop all the plans here, but if you don't get guys who are on the front lines, who go through the battle every day, if you don't have their perspective, then your plan doesn't really count, right?
I agree 100%.
Yeah, they don't really count. So we'll try to get some of the leadership from the LBA. We'll try to get some of the coaches here. My good buddy Raphael Quay, the coach from Pythons. This guy myself go all the way back to kindergarten. That's how long I've been knowing that man. So we're going to try to get Raphael on here, just to talk a little bit to get the coach's point of view. Maybe Sparrow. What's Sparrow's real name?
I know.
Wait, man.
Sparrow coaching the women basketball?
No, he coaches all of us. Sparrow, the coach for all of us.
Oh, I don't know him.
Oh yeah, man. That's bad. But yeah, so we'll get Coach Sparrow. But I know Ben Dixon. I think Ben Dixon is the assistant coach. So we'll try to reach out to them. We also want to get heads of local corporation, because those are the guys who sponsor the teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, get them out here to get them, let's get some ideas through them.
True.
On how they can help support, because that's where all the funding comes from. So yeah. So with that, we're gonna wrap up. We're gonna end here. Thanks for coming on, folks. We hope to see you next week, same time.
Same place, no technical glitches, because we got
no technical glitches. I think we got everything figured out now. So we'll hopefully be on time next week. So it's 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. So if you live on the East Coast, that would be like 5 p.m. And then anywhere else, you can try to figure it out. But thanks for your time. Again, this is your friend, your brother, your sports enthusiast, your basketball lover, the host of All the Reps and Beyond, the newest podcast in your neighborhood. Thanks for being on. And for me, I'll say enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I look forward to seeing you next week.
Peace, everyone. Thank you. All right, my man.
Yes, sir.
Catch up soon.
Yep.
You cut the live off?